What's going on, everybody? Dylan Napoleone. My final interview today. I couldn't be any more happy to be joined by Austin Ross, who will be making his return to the LFA cage. It's been, what, just over 2 years or so, Austin?
Yeah.
May 15th, you make a return. Emotions, excitement. How are you feeling just about, what, 2 weeks away?
Yeah, about 2.5 weeks away. Really excited. Been like you said, been a while since I fought. A little nervous, but like it's pretty common.
Yeah.
It's actually funny. It's like when the fight comes in and you sign the paperwork. That's when I'm the most nervous. And then as the fight gets closer, you think you like the nerves build. But I've been getting calmer just because training, feeling good.
Good.
It's for me, it's like right when I sign the thing. I feel like whenever managers give me fights and stuff, I always stress them out because I do a thing where like I look at it. I let it like sit overnight usually. And everyone's like, "What's he doing? Is he gonna take the fight?" But it's more for me mentally. But yeah, I'm excited. It's gonna be good.
Man, you've been getting into fights every single day at the gym and helping some guys like Yusri and others prepare for some big fights, and I feel like 2 years away from the cage in terms of your own competition. But I'm gonna give you the chance. Like, you've been very active over the past year at least, right? I mean, was there an injury in there?
Yeah,
Right,
but
but
never really.
you've been training hard, bro. You've been training real hard.
Yeah, man, never really stopped training. I know it's been about 2 years. Actually a little over 2 years since I fought, but I gave myself a little time. I jumped into being a pro like pretty quick, so I
Yep.
gave myself a little time after getting a few fights in there to learn. I moved. I made a big move from Buffalo to Connecticut to train with Glover and the guys. So I gave myself some time at first, and then you know how life works. I thought I'd give myself about a year, get back in there, and had some back injuries and stuff. Nothing that kept me out from training. Like I said, I've been in all the camps with the guys, but just things that I had to work through, and finally got healthy, and I'm ready to go.
Absolutely. It feels crazy to say, but this is, if I'm not mistaken, your first fight after all these training months and years of training at Teixeira, right?
Yeah, so it's kind of funny. So I had a fight when I came back across the state from New York to Woodstock, where I was living about an hour and a half from here. I was training with the team for about a week, right? Just like I would drive over from my parents' house and train and go back, and I was living over in Woodstock, and I was training for about a week, and I actually got my last fight that I had, the LFA fight,
Yep.
and I took that fight on about 3 weeks' notice, and I trained with the team a little bit for 2 weeks, and I went back up to Buffalo, where, funny enough, that's where the fight was. So besides that, yeah, this is my first time fighting with for the team, and being part of the group is it's been 2 years of training basically the team to fight.
And I was gonna ask you a little bit later in the interview, but like 2 years of training with this legendary team, this amazing team here in Connecticut. I could go back and watch your fight from 2 years ago, but do you think the Austin Ross that I'm going to watch from back then, is even close to the Austin Ross that we're getting on May 15th?
No, it's got to be totally different. I mean, just the experience, improving with the skill set of the guys I've been working with, the competition. Nothing bad about anything from the place I was in Buffalo. Great gym, great guys and stuff. But the structure here, the training, the hard rounds every day. Like there's no, what I mean, I'm not waking up on a Tuesday and going, today's gonna be an easy day. It's you're getting in there and you're grinding. So I mean, the preparation is unmatched, and it's totally different. Even from the fact that I'm a different person myself too. It's I'm up a weight class from when I fought
Yeah,
last, and all that sort of stuff. So I don't think there's any way it could be the same guy.
absolutely. Now, being here in Connecticut, I want to say congratulations. I'm very happy that you were able to reestablish yourself here and really make things easier as you try to chase this dream, right? Living very close to the gym you told me about last time. That's super cool. How's that transition been? You're very close to the gym now, living on your own, right, and stuff like that. Like, how's this new kind of journey in Connecticut going for you?
It's awesome, man. I mean, I think it's what I needed. It's one of those things where it's like it's been beneficial for everything I with, but it's sacrifices. Like
Yeah.
I'm not from here. My family lives about an hour and a half away, which isn't far. But I was living in Buffalo. I left there so I could come and train here. And about 7 months ago, I actually moved to Connecticut fully. So I'm trying to make the sacrifices to make a run at this, and be serious and train with the right guys and just do all the right things. So I've made sacrifices. My fiance moved here with me.
Very nice.
She's from Canada, so she lives, 8, 9 hours away.
Yep.
So she's made sacrifices. So it's been really good. It's exactly what I need. It's like all the positives in the world, but there's been sacrifices. We do a lot to make sure we're in the right place. Like you said, I moved right next to the gym because I wanted to be close. And even though I was living in Woodstock training here for the first, about year and a half, I was making sacrifices
Every single
driving.
day.
Yeah, I was driving an hour and a half one way, train, driving an hour and a half home. So, some of the positives about living closer is like just for my body, right? I'm not driving, 500 miles every week after
it's-
practice and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially with the price of gas these days too, bro. Like
Oh,
I have
yeah,
to
I got
say,
out just in time.
yeah, you're saving yourself like some good money, bro. I mean, like it's just that's a whole nother tangent. I'm not gonna go crazy, but the gas prices, dude, you'd be spending a ton of money right now if you were driving an hour and a half each way, bro.
Well, what's so funny is I live literally right, like you mentioned, right next door to the gym now. Like I could walk to practice on nice days. The funniest thing about that is I haven't even looked at gas prices in weeks because I never have to fill up my car anymore. And on the way here, I saw it was like 433,
Dude.
and I was like, I couldn't
I'm about
believe
to
it.
go have to go get some after this. You put like $20 in your tank or 30 or whatever, and it lasts you a solid 2 days. You know,
Yeah.
it's crazy, bro. But that's where we're at right now. And I wanted to get back. Let me ask you this: LFA is a very good promotion, and you know that you fought there before. Like, how cool is it to be able to pick up exactly where you left off, and you don't really have to try to work your way back into anything. You get to get right back into the big stage, LFA, right off the rip.
Yeah, I mean, even since my amateur days, like I've only really fought either, big promotions or good guys. You know what I
Right.
mean? I fought a lot of, I was fighting LFA and amateurs even.
Yeah, you're
So I
right.
mean,
Yeah.
I fought a lot for LFA. I really like the promotion. They're top tier. Everyone knows they're a great promotion. But it's philosophy stuff. It's stuff that Glover says, and things that get in your head where you gotta tell yourself. You look at fights and you take fights. It's not that I wouldn't fight other places. I would fight for other promotions. It's just when you have something in your head, you're trying to aim for goals. You want to be in spots that are going to get you where you want to go. Again, nothing against other promotions. I know there's good fighters and some smaller promotions too, but it's more about getting good fights, getting fights in a good promotion, things that are going to prepare you for the upper level. You don't want to have a bunch of easy fights, maybe inflate your record and think you're the best guy in the world, and then you finally get to the big show and you realize you're not as good as you thought. So rather just, take not the hard road, but do it the right way.
Yeah, test yourself, man.
Yeah.
Test yourself, absolutely. And now that we're back, I assume you plan to stay very active, right? You hoping to keep this ball rolling toward throughout the rest of the year and stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure. Healthy again.
Yep.
So that's a major proponent. I think my skills are where they need to be. So that's a major proponent. And the weight class thing is huge for me. I used to cut a lot of weight, and the weight cuts would hurt me sometimes in performances. So I think being at 205 is going to be an opportunity where I can fight more often because the weight cut won't be as dramatically effective on me.
Yeah, absolutely. No, fair enough, definitely. How about your thoughts on this matchup? Have you watched anything about your opponent, or are you more focused on your own self? What kind of fight are you expecting? On May 15th, anything like that?
Yeah, I watched a little bit. I always think it's important to watch a guy a little bit, not get obsessed with it though. More focused on what I want to do. I do something usually in camp where as soon as I get the fight, I'll try and watch all the fights of the guy that I can, and then I'll leave it alone.
Yeah.
I think usually, I'll watch the fights again, maybe the week of the fight, just to see if there's anything I forgot or something like that. But I don't watch tape all camp. I watch in the beginning, and then I leave it up for my coaches, right? I don't want to sit there and focus about what guys are doing.
Right.
Again, when I watch it the first time, it's more to just say, all right, maybe he has a tendency to do things. If he does something a specific way, I just want to know why I'm training in camp. But usually after I watch it that first week, I don't look at it again. I let my coaches watch the tape, and they'll know how to adjust training based on that.
Absolutely. How do you know like what you could expect from in this fight? Like, are you facing? I personally don't even know. Are you facing a wrestler, a striker? What are you expecting from him?
Pretty mixed.
Mixed.
I do a pretty good due diligence when I do look into the guy right away. I know he's got a couple decent wrestling credentials. He's a Southern guy down from Tennessee. Big strong guy. I mean, he's 205. Who's not going to be a big strong guy now, right? But he's got a little bit of wrestling credentials. Looks like he's a good, decent striker, power puncher. Looks very aggressive right off the bat. So I'm sure first period he's going to come out and look to throw. had really good amateur record. You know, similar to me. I know his first fight in LFA, he lost, but he actually knocked the guy down with a nice left hook, um, and then was swarming him. Kind of made a mistake. Ended up on bottom, getting ground and pounded out. So I expect him to be aggressive. I expect him to hit hard, and I expect him to be able to be a decently well-rounded guy. Like I said, I think he's an undefeated amateur. Lost his first pro fight. Similar to kind of path I had. So.
Yeah. So you mentioned his wrestling credentials, but I have to say you have some very high and very good wrestling accolades and credentials too. But I know at this point of your career, you don't really want to be tied to that. You're more of a mixed martial artist at this point. So how has this growth been, and how has your game improved or changed since the last time we saw you fight?
Yeah, I think improving on the defenses, striking, stuff like that. Striking defenses has been huge. Working on my hands, working on my striking offense. I'm always going to be a grappler at heart. I love the sport of wrestling, even outside of just fighting. And that is my strong suit. I think I'm the most dangerous when I'm on top of a guy. Maybe not even particularly my wrestling from the feet, even though I believe I have great takedowns, but usually, once I can get on top of my opponent, I'm usually a major problem for almost anybody. I think almost anybody in the world, honestly. I've trained with really good guys in the UFC. I've trained with guys all over the world, and I think usually once I get on top, I'm a really big issue. So usually that's where I want to be. I think the most important thing that the team has done for me is to be able to know, though, that not to force things.
Yep.
Letting my game evolve a little bit more naturally. Right? Everyone knows I want to wrestle. Everyone knows I want to get on top. So now it's not like, all right, this guy knows I want to wrestle, so maybe I'm not going to wrestle. It's more about use the skills that my coaches have helped me develop to get to my game. I don't have to go out there and be worried that I can't strike with a guy and try and dive at his legs and wrestle. I can be like, all right, I have good defense. I can set my shots up. I can land good punches. If the guy overreacts to my wrestling, I have great strikes to hit him with now.
Right.
Things that we've game planned. So it's more about just using the tools I'm good at, but making sure they come naturally and they're not being forced.
Well said, bro. And I think that's a great point, because that's something that every fighter has to learn at some point, and that's a big part of the evolution, if you will. Like you could be good at something, but how do you defend and then be able to use your strength, and even like you just said, like set up your takedowns through your striking and stuff like that. So yeah, absolutely, man. My last question for you: what can the fans expect? It's your first time fighting here in Connecticut. I know you're no stranger to Connecticut now. You've been training here for 2 years, but what could these fans expect? It's their first time getting to see you fight live.
Yeah, I'm gonna go out there. I'm gonna give a great show. I think I've been really visualizing a lot for the past few weeks, just not focusing on things I can't control. I think they can expect me to go out there and put on a good fight and pressure forward, be in good shape. I'm a guy that's gonna come in professional, be ready to fight, and I'm gonna give it my all. Like again, my preparation's been on top, my diet's on top, my conditioning is good to go. I'm sparring, training with really good guys every day. We got a bunch of good guys on the card, so
That's
I think the fans can expect everyone from Team Teixeira to come in ready to fight and give their best performances. I don't think there's going to be anyone there that's not ready to fight from our team, and I think that everyone that is fighting is win, lose, whatever. I think they're going to give good performances. They're going to go out there and they're going to be looking to win.
Yeah, no, that's it, man. Austin Ross, I can't wait to see you back, man. I really appreciate the time in the interview. This was a damn good one, bro. We've done 2 interviews together, I have to say. In terms of the questions that I asked and the answers you gave, this one is well above our last one, and that's what we look for, is just improvement. Like, our last one was still great, but I'm just trying to say that this was an amazing interview. So
Awesome.
thank you so much, bro. I appreciate it.